Hi, Carolina Walicki here. Just wanted to break down a couple of different types of properties as they exist in New York State, so that way you can define which one would be best for your needs. You have condos and co-ops. Condos in buildings, typically what you need to be able to purchase a condo is 10% down. Co-ops, you usually need to put 20% down or more depending on the co-op building. This varies from building to building, so you may want to check. Some of them may need a little bit more, some of them may accept less. The second thing to keep in mind is subleasing. Condo, you are welcome to sublease your apartment for as long or as little as you need to. Co-op, most of them have restrictions in terms of subleasing. So if you want to rent, first of all, you have to make sure that the co-op allows you to sublease the unit. You have to check if there are any additional fees for you to be able to sublease the unit. And most often, if they allow to sublease the unit, the subleaser has to go through an interview process and provide lots of paperwork, almost the same amount of paperwork that you would need to provide when you're going to purchase. The third thing to keep into consideration is post-closing liquidity. And that is basically the money that you have saved in your account after you've undergone the costs of the down payment and the closing costs. For a condo boards typically like to see 12 months, although as long as you have your pre-approval or pre-qualification from your mortgage lender, that's not such a big concern. On co-ops, they like to see 24 months of post-closing liquidity. What this means is 24 months of both your mortgage payments and your maintenance fees saved away. You do not have to give this money away, and oftentimes it can be in the form of retirement savings or stock somewhere, so long as you can retrieve them. But they just want to make sure that whoever they're going into business with, which is a co-op, is able to pull their own weight in the event should something happen. Another consideration to keep in mind is the package submission and whether you need to interview. So in both condos and co-ops, you will need to do a purchase application, which means just a lot of paperwork. You have to sort of prove your financial status and all of the accounts that you have. You have to disclose a lot of information when you're going to purchase property in New York, even in a condo. And they both require for these documents to be reviewed by the board, either the condo board or the co-op board. In both cases, what you're looking for them to do is to waive the right of first refusal. So in the case of a condo, you don't undergo an interview process. They simply review the paperwork. And then in the co-op, you do, after they review the paperwork, then they invite you for an interview. The interview sometimes is a formality, sometimes it's an actual interview where they want to assess whether they'd like to go into business with you. Now, there is a rare instance sometimes in co-ops where you have something that's called a sponsor unit. When you have a sponsor unit, that means that whoever the person was involved in the making or making of the building or making it be a co-op held on to some units, meaning held on to shares associated with units, meaning holding proprietary leases that then they want to sell. When you see a sponsor sale on a listing, that means that you do not have to go through the interview process and the purchasing process is a lot simpler. In terms of the timeline, co-ops tend to take a little longer. We're looking at 2 to 3 months, especially if there is mortgage associated with it. Condos may be a little faster, but you're only gaining like a few weeks because there is no interview. So both cases, I would say anywhere from 2 to 3 months is how long you should expect your transaction to take from beginning to end. Let me know if you have any questions, if there are any particular units or buildings that you're interested in. I'd be happy to help. Thank you. Bye.